Good day, doctor. I am Gan Kelly with metric number 271389. Now, I'm going to present an assignment of BPMN3123 Management Ethics, which is infographic. The infographic that we do is based on a short film that was created by a YouTube channel called ICAC Channel. The title of this short film is Separate Business from the Personal. In this short film, there are three main characters, which are Jen, Alex, and Kate. Jen is the best friend of Alex and Kate. At the same time, Jen and Alex are not only best friends, but they are also co-workers in the same company. Alex is a procurement manager in that company, and he is the husband of Kate, while Kate is a wife of Alex. The story, the short film has shown the story about a corrupt act happening in the workplace. What is corrupt act? What is corruption? Okay, according to an article written by James Chen in Investopedia's official website, corruption or corrupt act can be defined as dishonest behavior by individuals in positions of power or authority. For example, like managers, government officials, public servants, politicians. Actually, corruption can also involve anyone in the public. Normally, they abuse their power for their own benefits. Okay, then we back to see how the corruption issue that has been demonstrated by this short film. As I mentioned earlier, Alex is a procurement manager in that company. One day, his act of fabricating quotes and awarding purchase orders to a bogus firm that he set up secretly had been found out by Jen. So Jen personally found Alex and told him his wrongdoing. However, Alex did not admit his mistake to the company, but he begged Jen to help him keep this secret because he and Kate are getting married soon. So he really needs that extra money for his marriage. In order to make sure Jen do not report his unethical acts to the company, Alex even persuaded Jen to always consider and think about her best friend, which is Kate. From watching to this part, I can clearly see that Jen was involved in an ethical dilemma. She has to make decision whether she needs to report Alex corrupt acts to the company, or she has to put Kate in consideration by turning a blind eye. But Jen still ended up keeping quiet about Alex's wrongdoing. At the end of this story, Alex was still arrested by the ICAC. This is because the company audit has exposed this matter. While Jen was very regret to not report Alex's corrupt acts because she was suspected conspiring with Alex. Unfortunately, this has caused Jen to be suspended by her company. So the ICAC that had been mentioned in the short film just now is known as Independent Commission Against Corruption. This ICAC is based in Hong Kong, and it was established on 15 February 1974 when Hong Kong was under the British rule. Okay, the primary aim of this ICAC is to use law enforcement, prevention, and community education for the purpose to clean up the corruption issues in many agencies or departments of the Hong Kong government. So for Hong Kong is ICAC. How about the related agency or department in Malaysia? For extra information, the related agency in Malaysia is Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission, MACC, or also known as Suruhanjaya Pencegahan Rasuah Malaysia, SPRN. Okay, now I will continue to present the following part, which is some ethical lessons that we have learned from watching to this short film. Okay, the first ethical lesson that I have learned from this story is the wrong reasons are often given for decisions made when there is corruption or bribery happen. People who are lack of morality are more likely to make unethical decisions with the wrong reasons. Okay. From that short film, we can see that Alex explained his corrupt acts by giving the reason that he needed a lot of money for his marriage. In my perspective, I think that actually this cannot be a reason or excuse for Alex to take such unethical action by fabricating the quotes. Hence, in order to minimize and prevent corruption or bribery in the workplace, it is highly encouraged for every company to set high standards on corruption by providing support for people to follow them. Okay, furthermore, the second ethical lesson that I have learned from the story is separate the business from our personal. Business is business, personal is personal. So if we found out that when there is either our family, friends, relatives, or anyone that close with us have involved in corruption issue, we should not help them to keep quiet about their wrongdoings for the sake of relationships. So what we have to do is we should report their corrupt acts. We should let them know what they have to do is wrong and unethical. The more serious thing is if we help them to not report their corrupt acts, maybe we might also get affected too. So, for example, like we can see the example from the short film. Jen, who decided to keep quiet about Alex's corrupt acts, caused her had been suspected and suspended by her company. So this is a loss for Jen. Okay. Other than that, the third ethical lesson that I have learned from this short film is people will lose freedom and human rights when corruption takes place. Okay, we can see this example from the short film. Alex had been arrested by the ICAC due to his corrupt acts had been exposed by the company audit. So I think the penalty that Alex may get is a heavy fine or staying in prison for several years. This may cause Alex totally lost his freedom. For instance, if Alex get the penalty of a heavy fine, he has to take out a lot of money to settle this matter. After that, he might face financial crisis, and this not only would make it even more difficult and impossible for him to have a wedding, but also may bring a lot of problems in the expenditures in his future life. Besides that, if Alex gets the penalty of staying in prison for several years, he has to waste many of his time in prison without any achievement or improvement in his life. His marriage may also have to be forced to cancel. So we can see that it's quite a huge loss for Alex. So at that time, Alex should think about the severe effects that he may face before he decide to take this unethical action. So I hope the story that had been demonstrated by the short film can be a lesson for everyone and also cultivate us the awareness of the severity of corruption. By this, hope that the corruption issues can be prevented and become lesser in the future. Okay, that's all for my presentation regarding to the infographic assignment. So thanks for watching and have a nice day.